New to the studio is the HTVRONT Auto Tumbler Heat Press, and I'm so excited to share with you how I've used my Spoopy art to make these a real scream. First, I put all my artwork into Procreate, used some apps to create font, and then exported it to print on my sublimation printer, which is an Epson converted sublimation printer. I went through and picked out a few designs that I really liked and wanted to put onto these new tumblers. I've said it before and I'll say it again with HTVRONT product reviews. They have the easiest setup I've ever seen, ever. And all their heat press items, products are all the same across the board. You have your power button, your temperature button, your second button, and then you have ready when you're ready to press the button, but when it's flashing red, it's not ready just yet. I have printed out a picture first, and then what I'm going to do is trim it down to 9.25 inches wide. You can also trim the top and bottom where the borders are, but I've chosen not to do that, just the width is all I care about. Now you want something to rest your tumbler on at the end when it's done pressing, like a heat pad, but I actually got really smart here and I'm using my mini heat press 3 product where I can use the base, which holds actually a tumbler. So this worked out really well. I tried not to touch anything. I used alcohol wipes when I was cleaning off the tumbler at the beginning, getting it all prepped and set. I then use a microfiber cloth to clean the outside of it right before I wrap it with the image. Now you don't just want to press it once, you want to rotate it. So I usually put it in first with the tape up, then rotate it to the other side 180 degrees and press it again. And now I'm learning to leave a little bit hanging off the edge and kind of rotate it that way. How many times you decide to do that is up to you. Here I am taping it. I have found out the skinnier tape that I got with this HTVRONT set was better to use because it allowed the heat to transfer through it. When I used my thicker tape, it did not. That's a wider tape. So then I trimmed the very top edges at the top of the tumbler so I could fold it over, and that's why I didn't clip off the top or bottom of the page. I wanted a little bit to fold over, so I got a very tight fit onto the tumbler at the top and bottom of it. Here I am revealing the first tumbler we got done. Now with a white background, it works way easier. I find some of these marks are from me. That was just me setting up my file and not noticing I had little flubs on the illustration. That had nothing to do with the tumbler press. So now that I've taped everything really good, I've even been a little excessive with the tape, but I found that's important because when I did my trial the day before, I realized not enough tape. It was actually just popping off while it was in the heat press. So using more tape is actually better. I know it feels bad, but you can try to recycle your tape. I'm using my little tumbler holder and in between using my heat glove to kind of hold the mug as I move it off to use it again, and just kind of keeping this rotation going. I cut all my little edges that are hanging over and folded them over, and here I am pulling it apart. So we're going to take a look at the reveal of the full color background. The first one I did with the spicy did not have any kind of background color, and I have to tell you, folding it over at the top and the bottom of the tumbler is absolutely going to be my process. I'm just a baby when it comes to making these, and yes, there is an overlap line, so this is why you want to make sure your measurements are exact when you are putting it together. The seams should end up perfectly touching. I'm overlapping it a bit, still learning, and I think a lot of it, again, is my cutting board. I think it's not cutting correctly, and it might be time to upgrade my cutting board. I'm usually the kind of person that will push my machines to the limit or try new things, and I know that means I might break it or something might malfunction, but I'd rather take that risk and find out there was a smarter way of doing something, or if I take a little bit more time, it'll give the results that I really want. So I did think of something. Now I just made this temporary little wrap. Normally I'll be using the skinnier tape, but I thought about adding with permanent marker to the back the numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6, and that way I'll know what to do for each step, because sometimes as I'm rotating it, I don't know where I left off or which side I've already done. So this is just a helpful little tip that I decided to do for myself in the future. And maybe this will help you guys out, but that way I put it in one side up is 1. I rotate it over for number 2, which that looks like a 2. There we go. 2, and then I put one edge in up at 3 and leave it hanging off. I find number 4, turn it over, and number 5 is here, and then number 6. Now, this may not work for you at all, and that's okay. Everybody finds their own way, but if that does help somebody to do the 6 turns that I've done for the final one, that's how I felt I got the most coverage for this one. So this is where I do my 6 different sets. I put it in straight in, then I rotate 180 degrees fully in, then I do each side of it hanging off. I know it sounds like a lot, but if you have any questions, you can leave any kind of comments. I can always help out with another video. Okay, so we're gonna let this cool down. It takes about 2 minutes to cool. I will slowly pull things away, but this is why I wanted one that's kind of black or colorful so that we can see, is this because it was a lighter color, it kind of worked nice and got pretty even. Yesterday I did not tape the overlap and pull it taut. I highly suggest doing that because that changed everything. Let me show you a sample of what I'm talking about. So yesterday, I really didn't care about the overlap. I was just trying to learn it. I knew that I could find a home for this. So the bottom, you can see, did not fully get pressed. I didn't tape down the bottom, so I maybe curled the paper, I think, when I started learning a little bit more. You can see where it missed a little bit up here. And that was just doing your most basic presses. I didn't do anything too crazy. Okay, this was my first attempt. So you'll see when I didn't tape down, it completely did not get the tops or bottoms. I didn't think to move it across the heat press plate. So this was definitely, for starters, learning. I have a lot of the paper got stuck to it. I have where I didn't let the rubbing alcohol dry, so I think it gave some spots here and there. You can also use rubbing alcohol to remove any paper that might be stuck to it. Poster yesterday was this one. You can see where it's fading, but honestly, that little bit of ghosting is completely fine. I don't know. It really doesn't bother me. But you can tell at the top where it kind of didn't get all the way one color. You can even see where the paper was kind of crinkled, and it was basically ghosting over the same color even here. So again, this will probably just be a giveaway. You can see where I didn't match it up correctly and why I'm gonna choose to maybe like close things up at the top, and that's kind of what I did with the poison one. So we'll find out if that actually works. Anything with a white background has been marvelous. I am loving the color on just white. I know it's kind of boring, I know it's kind of basic. I might learn over time like some resin drips with like glitter or something like that, just to kind of add a little highlight or even resin on the little bubbles. That might be cute. So keep those things in mind when you're creating, is how can you create like a 3D effect and add more to it. I'm gonna have to look into what sticks to stainless steel, because you think of like puffy paint or something like that would be really cute on the bats, but over time, is it gonna stay? You want to throw this in your dishwasher. Sublimation obviously stays. Okay, so I have just peeled off all of this one. Curling it over the top is like definitely helping. Right here, some of this is paper, but you can also see where I didn't line it up correctly, so trying to get it exact is the best thing you can do. I don't think it's a bust because I think this is so awesome. This could be a cool little vase, vase, whatever. Cool candle. Maybe somebody can make it into a candle. Get some rubbing alcohol and see how this cleans up. So now that it's actually cleaned up, I really like it. I am really stoked on this design. I really am. I think it's so much fun. I completely forgot I had made these potion bottles last year for sticker sheets, and now that I can reuse them, I think that is awesome. It's so nice. It did clean up a lot. I would have to take more rubbing alcohol to it. So tell me in the comments below which one is your favorite. Luckily she's bloody. That's not supposed to be here. When I moved my files over, it moved this little line I put on her mouth. So it was like she has a little mustache. Another mistake, see? And then I'm gonna have to redo this. But anyway, tell me which one's your favorite in the comments below, and I will be doing
a giveaway with one of these designs on my Instagram.
I just want to thank HTVRONT for once again sending me an incredible product I'm so excited to have and add to my studio. If you guys are interested in these, I've added all my links below. Please feel free to comment or maybe share some ideas about what you've done, and I'd love to hear it.